Let's see, other factors that affect sleep. So in the morning, she already kind of brought on that. So get 15 minutes of early morning sunlight, and that's trying to avoid the screens before. I know we always want to get them to, what's my day looking like? How many emails do I have? But you know, my thing in the morning, I like to get up at 5:36 when I can, when our kids didn't wake us up at nighttime, and try and do a devotional, maybe go for a walk, go for a run, and just get that initial sunlight that comes up. That helps kick in your circadian rhythm. It helps bring your cortisol levels up. So I'm not looking for coffee and caffeine. I'm just naturally getting my body to go, hey, it's up time. There's something that stimulates that, and it's going to be sunlight. So when we, as people who work at computers all day, we wake up, we're in a rush, we get our coffee, we skip our breakfast, we jump in our car, we go into work, we don't really get much sunlight time, and then that's going to throw that whole circadian rhythm off. You're going to be looking for caffeines, you're going to be looking for other ways, processed foods, carbs, to artificially get energy.
That, and why that's so important for kids, it's important to, the way that our body works is our cortisol should be high in the morning, but we don't want to induce it to be sky high. And so we don't want to wake up and create like a stress that we don't need. So if we wake up and we grab our phone and we look at our emails, we're already like, we're thinking about our day, and we're like, oh my goodness. And so our hormones will then, instead of doing what they're supposed to do, where they're high and then they start to just do this, we're gonna create this hormonal cycle of this. And like, that's important for kids, because you want your kids to wake up and get moving, but you don't want to wake up and be like, hurry up, eat breakfast. You don't want to create like a fear response in them.
Yeah.
And so
it makes them not look forward to mornings.
Yes.
It really, yeah. So
it makes nobody look forward to mornings.
Yeah. So it's almost try the wake up time.
But it doesn't also set them up for a good school day, right? Yeah. Like if they have to go to school. Do your kids, do they go to school?
Okay, yeah, we do too. So you guys know that. They probably like to start at 9 o'clock in the morning. You might have the one that likes to get done. Like my daughter would start me at 5 a.m. if I woke her up. None of them, yeah. Yep.
Just three.
Yep,
But I mean, that is one of the biggest changes I've seen in our kids from homeschooling. They did go to school before that, and life has just gotten so much better. We wake up slow. They don't, they get up and they eat like a good breakfast, but we're not hurrying, we're not yelling at them. They're not like in this constant fight or flight, which is terrible for kids.
Yeah.
It's why so many of our kids now have like a big problem with stress and anxiety is because they're always in this fight or flight. They never get to come down.
Go to this class, go to your next class. 15 minutes to actually eat your food. My daughter, when she was going to school, she'd come back and half of her meal be eaten. She's like, I had 20 minutes and they had no time to really talk between classes because they cut their bathroom break shorter, and it's like, so there's really no time to socialize until lunch. So of course they're going to pick socializing at that time because they have not been able to talk all day.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother story. We could talk about homeschooling, I suppose, and the benefits of that. But shutting off screens an hour before bed, we mentioned that. When you are looking at blue light, that blue light is great in the morning if it's natural from the sun. The sun is meant to tell our body, hey, it's up time. It kicks up our cortisol. As the sun goes down, it gets more orange, reddish colors, sunrise. That's when our cortisol levels drop down and tells us, hey, it's time to go to bed. But throughout the day, if we're looking at computers, if we're looking at screens, if at bedtime we're watching a movie or we're looking, very closely at our cell phone, that is just ramping up a stress response.
It's a stress response, and it's also our body's way of like, it must not be bedtime, so I have to stay up.
Exactly. Not less of a stress response, more of that.
Yeah, more of a like, I have to keep this person awake because it's not bedtime.
Yep, and it suppresses your production of melatonin because your body goes, hey, it's time for bed. I'm going to start producing this thing that makes this person sleepy there. A lot of people will supplement with that, and we do that often too, especially if we've had a long day, we got home late. We'll supplement.
If they don't get a lot of exercise, we'll supplement with a very low dose of a liquid melatonin. Liquid melatonin goes through, I didn't used to do this, but the more I've studied it, it's processed better, so they don't wake up groggy, and I only give them less than 1 milligram, very little, just enough to get them to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But just because, sometimes we are doing things that I know that's inhibiting them from their body from doing that. So we don't try and rely on it. Mm-hmm. They really don't need it if they've played sports for the day or been outside a lot. But if we had it's been raining and we've been inside all day, I know they're not gonna have an easy time falling asleep.
And with the screens too, I know people that say, I use the screen or I use the TV to help me sleep. It makes me tired. Well, it's really making your eyes tired because your brain is taking in that information from the screen there. Your eyes are getting tired, but your body's actually being told, hey, it's time to wake up. So you get this thing where you pass out because your eyes are so tired you can't keep them open anymore. But then boom, 2 or 3 in the morning you wake up and it's like, whoa, I'm ready to go. Why am I so up right now? Well, you just trained your brain that, hey, it's up time at this moment.
Blue light blocking glasses can be something that you can't mitigate that. You can't get off the screen. At least one thing you can do is help your eyes not see that blue light as much.
Yep. Yeah, those, and I will wear those in the afternoon usually. If I'm going to be on the computer for 8 hours a day, in the morning I might not put them on, but in the afternoon for sure, I'll put on those blue light blocking glasses just so I get less of that blue light screen in my eyes there. So I'm more prone to fall asleep easier and be tired.
So I have those glasses, so you're not supposed to use them in the morning?
No, you can. I just say that's what I do. I don't need glasses, so I
use the blue light.
Yep, so that's perfect, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and especially if that's your job mine isn't to be on the computer, I'm probably 50-50 note taking.
What about taking your screen and put it like dimmer?
Dimmer mode, yeah, the night shift, yeah, especially in the afternoon. In the morning when the sun's coming in, just so you can see the screen, you want it on that brighter thing, especially if you got windows around there. But by the evenings there, when the sun starts going down, for sure, like if it's 7 at night and I have to do emails, I got that thing as dim as I can get it to where I'm not squinting. My eyes should go, oh, that feels better, than being like, holy cow, I can't see anything.
Right.
Especially, I don't know, being on a computer in a dark room, is that any better than being in a computer with a bunch of lights? I've often wondered that.
Supposed to have just a light on.
Yeah, just a light on, yeah.
Because it's too much, like, just looking at the monitor.
Yep, so much.
Source of light.
But really the only thing that would change when you turn those lights on is your pupils just get smaller. The same amount of light is hitting you, it's just your pupils are not letting in quite as much, which is actually making your eyes kind of work hard because it knows there's so much light going on. So that's one thing that could keep you up. You'll fall asleep because your eyes are tired, but then, and this is more, like we said, we're talking about children, they don't really know that. They're at the point where their eyes are still working great, those pupils are constricting and letting in and out light fine, but how's their behavior? How is their restfulness? Are they agitated in the morning? Do they last all day long? Do they crash when they get home? Those are things that I would look at. And then if you're really crazy like us sometimes, we'll shut off our Wi-Fi. We have that on a timer. And, I try not to let our cell phones in the room, but we don't have landlines anymore. So that is kind of the thing. And just like, well, what if grandma and grandpa have to get a hold of us? Well, I got it on really loud out in the living room and we hear everything in our house. So I usually turn that on and leave one phone on. You usually put yours on airplane mode if you have it next to the bed.
Yeah, I rarely have it next to the bed, but if I have it next to if I need it for an alarm or something.
Yeah, that's why
you're just worried about the radiation. And so when it's on airplane mode, it doesn't have any, and so that's the one thing with our phones. Bluetooth and our Wi-Fi create a lot of excess radiation, which can keep, it can affect sleep, affect a lot of things in the body. As long as you're 6 feet away from something, it can't reach you. But kind of mitigating that stuff.
I've had friends put tinfoil around it. People make fun of the people that wear tinfoil hats, but apparently that tinfoil helps just kind of mitigate the EMF from getting out. Bill, he's a computer genius, so he knows about
There's
that.
a lot of safe sleep, I think.
Oh yeah, there's different
There's
things.
like a phone case that helps mitigate that.
You can even go all in. I remember when we were right next to the cell phone tower and we were having a lot. So we were in town there and we were wondering if that was causing some of our son's rashes, and we were going to get to the point where we were going to get one of those little things, those teepees that went over the bed.
Yeah.
Or you could put it in the window, I guess, because I think it wouldn't come through concrete, but his window looked directly at that thing right where he laid. And we're just like, is that part of it? We don't, so.
Depresses the immune system.
Yeah.
And you're done.